Hello everyone, this is DavidViadel23 and welcome to the Mandragon's Cave. Today we're going to be talking about Dragon, Monkey D. Dragon, Luffy's father from One Piece. So last week we were talking a little bit about Emu and the world government and Silhouette character and Hoodie character, and I think it's time to talk a little bit about Dragon. The drawing for today is gonna be... it's not gonna be a silhouette, but it's gonna be a little bit more in my style, because Dragon is a character that is been shown only a few times in the story, and every single time he looks different. So what I wanna focus is in the movement of the character. We will try to do the cape, this kind of cape that he is always wearing, and yeah, focus here in the arms and everything, a little bit taking reference from when he first time appeared in Lockdown, and then when he showed up as well in, well, some info about him showed up in after Water 7, etc. So yeah, what I want to focus today is in the story of Dragon and the connections to the main story. So far we think he is Garp's kid, and I think that's not correct. First of all, I think Oda what normally does, he kind of gives you hints all the time for information that later he uses again. Like in Dressrosa we have all this boom and all these concerns about Kiros, and then Kiros ends up being this warrior that is adopted by the Riku family, and so he can't marry the daughter, etc. All of this offline, all of this over the counter, so no one actually knows the truth of this. I think Dragon is quite similar to Kiros in that aspect. I think Dragon is not Garp's son. I think Garp's daughter was Garp's daughter fell in love with Dragon, etc. And Dragon was a misfit, a bad guy like Kiros, and she was able to kind of transform him to good, and obviously they got married, etc. And he adopted the Monkey D. Dragon family name. But to be honest, there's many situations like this. I mean, I understand that Garp is a kind of top tier character of One Piece, and not even the Terribitos can touch him because all the things that he helped them doing, and because he's been named a hero, etc. But having his son as the enemy of the world #1, nothing happens to Garp, nothing happens to... it's a little bit difficult to believe, let's say. Difficult to believe. So I think, I had this theory since a very long time that the Dragon is not actually the son, and the daughter married him, and then in time they had Luffy, etc. I want to talk a little bit about the power. I think the first time that we see Dragon, and I want to talk about him today because I think a lot of info may be revealed soon with the last episode and the info in the last episode. So I think Dragon, when he was first shown, he was shown with a lot of wind. So I think he may be involved with the weather, or he could even have the wind power, like Enel has electricity, or other people has other elements, like Alogia power regarding the wind. When he first time appeared in the story in Lockdown, he's shown like this, and suddenly he appears there to save Luffy from a smoker, no? And then we have this comment with Ivankov that they are talking, and as well he says, he asked Dragon if he has family in the West Blue, in the East Blue, because always when he's looking, let's try to do the face a little bit first. When he's always looking there, it's always looking to the same direction, to the east. So Ivankov is kind of wondering, oh, do you actually have family there, and you don't want to share it? So yeah, so I think with his wind power he's able to kind of channel this energy and be able to see over the distance, and that's as well why he can control many areas, because he kind of, obviously you have communications in this organization of the revolutionaries, but it will be really useful if, being the wind, you can be connected to all the winds and kind of track some information on see people through the wind. It could be really interesting. So let's make him, he's really upset, always with upset face, because obviously a lot of problems with the world government and everything. But yeah, let's do the eyes 1 second. The eyes are really, and really like this, like it's a character that it's always grumpy and it's always thinking about a plan, and it's, you know, has a very important role. So yeah, so we talk a little bit about Dragon, from where he comes. I think he comes from poverty, and the Garp family kind of adopted him, and in his youth, let's say teenager, because the girlfriend, in this case Garp's daughter, that Luffy's mom, that it will be revealed whenever Oda wants to reveal this info. But what I want to say is, we talk a little bit about this, we talk a little bit about Garp and Dragon doesn't even look alike, and Luffy doesn't look alike either. I always thought, this is just a side note, I always thought Garp swapped the kids, and somehow Roger kid, Ace, was actually Dragon's kid, but Garp managed to swap them, and the timeline doesn't fit. But I always thought that Jewelry Bonnie was involved, being one member of the family. That it could even be at some point that she's involved, but I think that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, I don't see the resemblance with Luffy or with Garp. So yeah, important thing about Dragon at the moment is that we are in this Egghead super flashback that is kind of showing flashbacks of many eras and many characters, and all of them top tier. And I've been thinking about this for a very long time. I think Nico Robin is Dragon's daughter, and the video will go more or less about this today, because if you think about it, we see Dragon in last episode. Dragon is confirmed to be a Marine. We already knew this, but it was kind of a little bit more of a speculation, because nothing actually was super confirmed. But there's a color spread, and there's one of these color spreads that you buy, that it comes with a big poster, and you have all the Marines there. And there's one of those pictures that is young Dragon, or everyone thought it was young Dragon. Now it's confirmed that in his youth he was a Marine, and because there was no justice, he decided to leave and do his own justice. And that makes me think about other characters that they do the same kind of. Nico Olvia is never been confirmed who is Nico Olvia's partner and who was Robin's father. The times would fit in regarding, I'm thinking, why in this mini flashback with Egghead and with Vegapunk and Ohara, why would Dragon go to to Ohara with flowers? And he says in that episode, they are talking, Vegapunk and him. He says, "What are you doing here?" He says, "Oh, I was friend with Clover. I knew Clover." Okay, I knew Clover, but you don't. I don't think you bring flowers to a old man that you know that it's a kind of a rebel soul as well. Like you actually bring flowers to a partner, no? In this case, I think the flowers are for all of them, obviously, but in particular for Nico, that he dies there, no? I think we have in this flashback a young Dragon that he was a freedom fighter, and then probably after these events a kind of the revolutionary army starts as well, because the love of his life, in this case Nicolvia, has been killed, and that character as well was this researcher against the world government. Is something that you can make the match for the characters. What made Dragon like in a person, or a character that is like him, maybe, no? And then it is always really puzzling for me. If you see my previous videos, I have a video about Aokiji. For a very long time, because the protection that Aokiji has been given to Robin, I thought Aokiji may be the father, because the time will fit as well, a very young Aokiji having a kid. But lately I think I'm kind of going more towards the idea of Dragon being the father, because all the things that I'm trying to explain today. So I think Aokiji has been in contact with Dragon, and during the whole time Aokiji is connected to the sword, to Garp, to kind of the good justice of the world, and he's been protecting Nico Robin, aware of her true potential. Let's do this like this, kind of boots. So there's an interview from ages ago that Oda said there is siblings, there may be siblings in the Straw Hat crew, and everyone was thinking, oh, it may be Zoro and Sanji and this and that, it may be this, and I think the obvious choice, if that happens to be true, it will be Robin. So having Dragon falling in love with this woman that he has kind of similar interest like him, and then losing her in Ohara, bringing flowers to her, and yeah, becoming more revolutionary than he is already, becoming enemy number one of the government, and then after that he may fall in love again, or not even fall in love, but just have a kid, and that kid is Luffy, and that Luffy is, let's say, abandoned, because he's basically abandoned in the village, and he never actually cares much about Luffy, to be honest. He's kind of always focusing in Robin. He's been asking about Robin the whole time when they've been in when the time skip happens, when Marineford happened, when then Robin joined him and everything, and after Robin left, he's always asking about Robin. You can say, okay, Robin is the light of the revolution that they say, or kind of something like that, no? Because the poneglyphs, because the chasing, the whole life, because the spirit of Ohara. What if you give a twist to that and say that he's so interested in Robin because he's the only... This is a shonen. There's no love, there's no sex, there's no killing if it is not necessary, extremely necessary. But what if this is kind of the reason to be of Dragon to be? Like, he's asking about Robin because he's the daughter, and it's from the love of his life, and on top of that knows how to read the poneglyphs, so has this kind of background that comes from the mother and all the other people in Ohara. And I think it's really interesting, the concept. Why Dragon wouldn't be interested in Luffy? If the theory that the kids are swapped with Ace and everything, it can fit, but I think it will diminish a little bit. A little bit no, kind of the whole Ace purpose to be and things that he wanted to do and to be. The problems with being the son of Roger and kind of taking as a adoptive father Whitebeard. All of that will be a little bit messed up, and I don't think Oda will go for that. But it's a concept I always had in my head. So I think Robin is aware of this. I think Robin is aware of her being daughter of Dragon. But as we know her, she's not revealing. She's not a revealing character. She doesn't actually talk about her purpose and everything much. The whole time she's more about having a family that she never had. I think these things are not important for her, like for Luffy, that they actually don't care about who is the blood family. I think the concept of the found family is what we are talking with, connecting with Nico, Robin, and Luffy. If this happened to be true, Luffy's attitude is not gonna change. Robin's attitude is not gonna change. Luffy would have rescued her from CP9, from Enies Lobby anyway, if she wouldn't have been, not only Nakama, not only friends, just saying that it's a sister. Doesn't matter for Luffy. So I think it's gonna be one of those plots that they will reveal, but the characters itself, they will not care about it. They will say, yeah, whatever, my father is Dragon, whatever, and then like it happened already with Luffy in Water 7. Your father told me this. Oh, actually, do I have a father? So Luffy doesn't care about these things. And I think it's a really beautiful concept for someone like Luffy, because he grew up kind of a little bit in isolation in this town, and he had people who loved him, yes. You had Makino, you have Dadan and the group, and then Garp in his own way. But to be honest, for Luffy, they are already all of them brothers, sisters, Nakama, friends, you call it how you want, but he has already this family, and he learns this all along the way. He learns this with Sabo, with Ace. But yeah, as I was saying, there's a lot of tickets, I think, for Nico Robin to be the daughter of Dragon and Olbia. That's why Dragon is bringing flowers. That's why Dragon may be involved more in Egghead. That's why Dragon is aware of Saul. In that flashback he says, oh, there's giants there, and they are collecting the books. And Dragon says, don't worry about them because I already had a chat with them and they are good. The leader, it's all wrapped in things that Saul. And at the same time, I think now it's gonna be 1000 episodes since we've seen Smoker and Dragon. I think Smoker and Dragon are gonna appear soon in Egghead. If you see my Smoker video, you will understand why I'm saying this. But it will make totally sense for me that with this flashback of Kuma that we're having now and everything, the Dragon shows, if not in Egghead, in the main story. It's been a while, and I think it's needed as well to start to connect all the dots. These kind of moments with Robin and Saul is gonna be really emotional, and I think it can be to be more impactful, in my opinion, if they reveal this having connection with Saul, or Saul has been talking with Dragon, and Dragon, yeah, they may reveal the info about being the father, but I don't think it's gonna be an important thing for the crew, to be honest. Let's do the legs here. At the same time, as they introduce a little bit Dragon, his character, the reason to be, and all these things, I think it's very important to mention Akainu. Akainu and Dragon are kind of the same age, and since the very beginning that we've seen Akainu referring to Dragon is being referring to Luffy, it's been called one second. Dragon Son. It's kind of, he does not address Luffy by his name a single time during the whole story, and I think that's because they had a problem when they were teenagers, like 17, 20, just before Dragon left the Marines. That's why Akainu as well behaving that way and kind of made the rush judgment of obliterated his ship from Ohara with survivors, with the people who are living there, and because I think he kind of learned the lesson with Dragon. Okay, he said, this guy, I've been too soft with him, and he became a revolutionary, and now is the enemy #1 of the world. So I'm not gonna let. And he knew that Nico was the partner probably at that point. He said, I'm not gonna let anyone repeat the same story with Dragon. So I'm just gonna destroy the whole thing. And as we see more character in Akainu, on the sense of Akainu slowly is realizing that he is kind of being a puppet. He has no power there. The Gorosei are the ones who control the world. He has no opinion, and he's all the time being used for their own needs. I think Akainu, it's a dog, red dog, Aka Inu from Japanese. It's a reference of a dog, and he will follow whatever they say, well, like he's been doing. But I think a dog is a loyal animal, is the friend of the human, and I think they need to kind of make this kind of revolution with Akainu. I think Akainu is gonna, after giving all the info with Dragon and realizing, probably Aogichi, that is connected with Dragon, makes Akainu realize, because the fight that they had, that he's been doing wrong the whole time, and I think he's gonna end up turning on the government. Let's add a little bit more of darker tone to the cape, using this olive tone. I like this olive tone for the cape. And I think Dragon is a story with connections. I think when they explain Dragon, they need to explain now Kuma, Ivankov, that they are doing now in the flashback. He looks very affected as well with Genie. Whatever happened to Genie, we will see probably in this next episode or the following one. And there's kind of key moments with Dragon that people that he comes close to, they end up dying, I think, like Nico or maybe even Genie now. And yeah, that's why he detached from family, he abandoned Luffy. I'm thinking that maybe he didn't even know, probably, that he had a daughter, and because I don't believe that during these so many years, like 28 years, that she's been hiding and escaping from the world government, being in multiple organizations, Dragon wasn't able to find her, you know. They say, when the flashback happens, oh, we've been looking for you, Nico Robin. You are the light of the revolution. But I don't believe it. I don't believe it, like, they couldn't find her for so long. Because the world government finds her in many occasions, and people reported her as well. And these guys they have such a vast network of connections, that it's impossible. I think Dragon wasn't actually ready to kind of talk with her and to reveal the truth of this to Nico Robin. And Kuma, his friend, his Nakama, that we will see the connection now with Kuma, he is the one who sends Nico, Robin in Shabondi there to Dragon to kind of say, hey, I know this info, Dragon, that you told me that you have this daughter that you realized later that she was your daughter, you can't find her, or you found her but you don't want to, you are ashamed of this because she reminds you to Olvia because they look exactly the same, something like this in this line. But me as your friend, Kuma as your friend, I'm telling you, you need to talk to her, you need to tell her the truth, and on top of this you need to let her be and decide whatever she wants to do. She doesn't need to be the light of the anything or the revolution. She needs to be with her family, in this case the Straw Hat crew. And I think that's what they are holding, because they don't want to show, Oda doesn't want to show yet the human side of Dragon. I think it's more about the fight, about the opposites and about the contrast. But we're almost really close. I think when they show Saul, then they will show the connections with Saul, Dragon, Aogiji, and Nico Robin, and Nico Olvia. And Nico Robin knows about all of this because she already had the talk with the father, and she knows that she is sister of Luffy as well, but she doesn't care. She's not gonna say it, and Luffy doesn't care either. Luffy doesn't know, but he doesn't care. So all those things will be revealed at the end of Egghead, because I think Saul and a small group of giants are still in Elbaf, are still in Egghead, and this info of Vegapunk contacting someone, they say, oh, we need the help of someone, oh, don't call them because they will reveal themselves. I think that's Saul, and Saul is not going to be in Elbaf, he's going to be here in Egghead at the very end. There's many connections with Ohara and Egghead in this saga. A lot of comments, a lot of flashbacks, a lot of mentions, and it will be totally normal that you connect all these characters now with this part of the story. And I think we kind of have the character. We're gonna delete a little bit, so just to do a little bit of recap of what I've been talking. I think Dragon is not Garp's son. I think he married or came together with Garp's daughter. He becomes revolutionary to the eyes of the government, a bad guy, because he wasn't agreeing with the Gorusei methods, and he saw everything because he was a marine. He had his rivalry with Akainu, because Akainu was a loyal dog of the government, and they were the same age. Probably they joined together, like you have Luffy, Zorro, that they are friends, Sanji and everyone the same. And then I think at some point he meets Nico Olvia against all the odds. Akainu knows all of this, and when they do the Buster Call, he decides to leave the Marines. Akainu is aware of the relationship with Olvia, and this is reported probably. That's why he becomes the most wanted as well, because he can have information from the Ohara people. And then they destroy Ohara, and how Akainu knows this, and his kind of former colleague, former brother, let's say, because I think it's gonna be that to that limit. They were even brothers. He decides to not want to repeat that experience of someone that he knows or that he can control is becoming bad, so he decides to destroy the ship. And then we have him coming to kind of pay the respects to Olvia and the rest of the Ohara people, because the flowers, but basically the flowers are for the wife, let's say. I think it's even the wife. And I think at that point he is not aware that he has a daughter, because Nico Olvia is like Robin. It's secretive, and they actually don't talk about their feelings, other things. And then you have the whole story with Ivankov, with Kuma. The freedom fighters become the revolutionaries against the world government. They want to make the world government, Imu, the Gorusei, to kind of not be in the power. And let's do this a little bit more dark like this so we can actually see it, because the drawing is small. And then the fight starts with the government more and more every time, and we have this this character Dragon meeting another girl, probably, I hope it's one of the bad guys. I don't think it's gonna be Imu, but it will be very interesting if it's Imu that ends up being Luffy's mom. Like this kind of good guy, bad guy come together, they have disagreements and they separate, things like this. It could be very interesting as well. And then Luffy happens, but how he's been so destroyed psychologically speaking with the ideology of the government and the experience with Nico and Ohara and things like this, he decides like, okay, I'm not gonna take care of this Garp. You are family, we are family. Take the kid and do whatever you want with the kid. But I don't care about this anymore. I'm gonna fight. I'm just gonna fight. Something in the lines of that. And now we have this dragon character with wind fruit trying to put the world upside down, and the hair is tremendously similar, like the silhouettes of Rox Dichebek so far, and the numbers will fit as well if this character is kind of son of Rox, but he doesn't want to be son of Rox, and he ends up being adopted by Garp, one of the good guys. I think Rox was a good guy as well, but we can talk about him in another episode. But yeah, I'm gonna leave this one on the air for another moment when we talk about Rox, but very strongly opinion about Dragon may be Rock's kid, and these things about Garp fathering Ace and taking a kid from Roger so to save it, it may have happened again, something similar with Garp and babies and swapping with Dragon as well. So let's leave this for the moment. This is DavidViadel23, DavidViadel23, you can say it as you want, and this is the Mandragon's Cave. I hope you liked the video. Please leave your comments, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much.